We have new details on the Afghan terror suspect accused of shooting 2 National Guardsmen near the White House, what we are learning and how it could impact U.S. asylum policy moving forward. Good morning. I'm Dana Perino. Bill is off today. Good morning, Aisha.
Good morning to you and welcome back to you, Dana.
Thank you.
I'm Aisha Hasni in for Bill. This is America's Newsroom. That suspect is accused of shooting specialist Sarah Beckstrom and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. Beckstrom died from her injuries last week. Wolf remains in critical condition and is said to be fighting for his life.
The suspect fought in the Afghan army and he came here legally in 2021. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem on what happened next.
We know that this individual came into the country under Operation Allies Welcome and during the Biden administration. We believe he was radicalized since he's been here in this country. We do believe it was through connections in his home community and state, and we're going to continue to talk to those who interacted with him, who were his family members, talk to them.
All of this is now prompting President Trump to announce what he calls a permanent pause on migration from, quote, third world countries. He is also vowing to deport some immigrants who are already here. The president defending the plan as a necessity.
How long does your administration plan to pause asylum into the U.S.?
I think a long time.
Can you give any
We
kind
don't
of
want
time?
them.
What's
We
a
don't
long
want those
time?
people. We have enough problems. We don't want those people.
Is there a list of...
Well, I guess we gave you 19, right? And it's probably more than that. They're very crime-ridden countries. They're countries that don't do a good job. They're countries that don't register from the standpoint of success. And we, frankly, don't need their people coming into our country telling us what to do.
Madeleine Rivera has much more from Washington. Good morning, Maddie.
Good morning, Dana. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem says they want everyone with information to come forward as they try to figure out what may have turned the suspect, an Afghan national who once worked with the CIA. 29-year-old Ramanullah Lakhanwal has not been charged with terrorism. He is, though, facing first-degree murder for the death of 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom. As investigators dig into his background, new reporting indicates he may have been struggling to adjust to life here in the U.S. The AP says Lakhanwal had been having problems holding a steady job and would sometimes spend weeks in isolation. He had been vetted by the intelligence community for his work at the CIA, and he would have been screened before getting asylum earlier this year, but the Trump administration maintains there were flaws in the system.
This guy drove across the country, as we all know, from Washington state to execute our National Guard members. That should not be happening in the United States of America.
Communities in West Virginia have been holding vigils for 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom, who passed away on Thanksgiving. 24-year-old Andrew Wolf remains in the hospital, where he's surrounded by family members. His parents say their son is a fighter, and they're asking for prayers. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey says he met with Wolf's family at the hospital.
Certainly are here, but the positive energy, the spirit that the families bring to bear, that his friends have, everyone is rooting for him so hard to make it to that next level, and it's really encouraging to see.
President Trump says he wants to meet with Beckstrom's parents at the White House. He has extended an invite. No word yet, though, on whether they have accepted. Dana and Aisha.
All right, Maddie, thank you so much. Aisha?
Meanwhile, a different Afghan national who was paroled into the U.S. under the Biden administration was arrested last week for allegedly plotting a terror attack in Texas. That arrest taking place just one day before the shooting of those 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. Our Brooke Taylor is in Dallas now with all the details about this case. Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Aisha. Well, short sources tell me that the Afghan national here posted a really credible threat, they say, on TikTok, indicating that he was going to build a bomb and blow up a building in the Fort Worth area. Mohammed Al-Akozi was arrested on Tuesday, so this was just 24 hours before the murderous attack on 2 National Guard members in D.C. He is behind bars right now, charged with making a terroristic threat. Now, Fox was the first to break this over the weekend. He came into the United States under Operations Allies Welcome, just like the D.C. shooting suspect, according to DHS. Now, Al-Akozi was admitted to the U.S. as a lawful permanent resident in September of 2022. Operation Allies Welcome was launched in 2021 by the Biden administration and resettled over 190,000 Afghans into the U.S. after its withdrawal from Afghanistan. The program has faced scrutiny over its vetting processes The Air Force pilot who flew the last evacuation flight out of Afghanistan spoke on Fox and Friends this morning.
We saw during the evacuation, we brought out 124,000 people in that evacuation in just 17 days. And so it's very difficult for those of us who are there to really imagine that there could have been any proper vetting back then at all. And to see that it is continuing right now, 4 years later, is really frustrating.
What kind of vetting did you see when you were on the ground there?
None.
And the Trump administration has directed U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services to pause all asylum decisions in response to the D.C. attack. This follows the president's promise of a sharp crackdown on immigration from third world countries.
The people from different countries that are not friendly to us and countries that are out of control themselves. Countries like Somalia that have virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Then they come into our country and tell us how to run our country. We don't want them.
And right here back in Texas, ICE has launched a detainer on the Afghan national who is charged with making a terroristic threat. Aisha.
Okay, Brooke Taylor live for us in Dallas. Brooke, thank you. Dana?
And Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin is here with us. Thanks, Tricia, for being with us today. I want to put up a list of these countries. There are 19 of them, all third world countries. Is this list static, or could it possibly grow?
No, this could absolutely grow, Dana. This is evolving, especially as we do some real analysis on this. But I do think it's incredibly important for viewers to know what the prior administration was doing when it comes to vetting, especially when it came to this Operation Allies Welcome. This vetting was paper thin. They weren't doing biometric vetting. They weren't really doing criminal vetting, criminal screening, cyber screening, financial crimes. They weren't cross-referencing. They weren't looking at social media. So President Trump and Secretary Noem have completely overhauled this process to make sure we're diving in deep and seeing who are the people who are actually entering this country. As your past guests have said, almost 200,000 Afghan nationals entering this country, many of which were military-age men. The fact of the matter is the Biden administration didn't know who was coming into our country, causing a huge national security crisis. And that's exactly what we saw the other day with this terrorist attack and then this near terrorist attack out of Fort Worth, Texas, where this individual was threatening to blow up a building. Both of these individuals being Afghan nationals, both of them coming in under this Biden administration program.
Can I ask you a little bit more about that tracking? Because as you're saying, the Biden administration had their process or not a process. Okay, and so one of the concerns is, as Secretary Noem said this weekend, is that the murderer here, a suspected murderer, he was radicalized while he was here. So even if he had gone through that vetting, perhaps he would get radicalized. What can DHS or the administration do working with FBI to see if there are other possible radicalizations underway?
Well, when I mentioned the cross-referencing with other agencies, there was a lot of siloing of intelligence between agencies. But the other piece of the vetting process that the Biden administration so direly missed is the fact that they were not having these asylum applicants come in for a yearly check-in, for a yearly interview. Had that been the case, this individual might have been, there might have been flags signed, and we might have known that this individual had been radicalized. He didn't just wake up one day and lose his mind. This was over time, a process, and there were other individuals who were in his community who knew that this action would be taking place.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.